The top graph shows the water budget for Lake Abram, which took into account water flowing into the wetland from Middleburg Heights, the addition of rainwater, and subtracting out water flowing out to Brook Park. The lower curve in the top graph represents how much water levels decrease due to evaporation. In the center, the predicted water levels are shown, obtained from dividing the water budget by the area of the wetland. The bottom graph shows the observed water levels. Here we have the flooding at Lake Abram during the summer months. The Metro Parks has determined areas where flooding problems originate. There are flooding problems at Sheldon Road and at the gauge at Middleburg Heights. We'd like to place a dam at Middleburg Heights. Here is the location of where it could be. Given a particular water level, one can determine the capacity or elevation needed to contain that volume. As you can see, the dam lowered the overall water budget for the wetland. The water input from Middleburg Heights was subtracted out for when the dam was in place. If global warming is not stopped, this could happen to a town near you, and there's nothing, absolutely nothing that you could do about it. There is not a dam that is big enough that you could build. A dam would have to be larger than the Statue of Liberty to prevent this from happening to New York. As you can see, the Statue of Liberty is almost underneath water here, and that's a pretty expensive dam. It's very big and very expensive, and like there'd probably be like a lot of people dying just trying to build that dam because it's so big. And I mean, the flood pond around it would just be enormous. Here's the one for Lake Abram. I mean, it's pretty small, this 100-year flood pond. And I mean, when the water levels raise 2 meters, I mean, water is not covering buildings at this point. But if there were a larger storm, such as a typhoon or like a monsoon, then perhaps some buildings could possibly be underneath water, and that would be very bad. As you can see here, there's a couple buildings underneath the water of this 100-year flood pond when flooding gets too out of control. In the future, we'd have to run some cost analyses in which we looked at the capacity of this 100-year flood pond, and perhaps we'd have to build some more dams or some channels of just like other ways of redirecting the flow so that they're not occurring at these buildings and flooding out people's homes and the surrounding area. There's a lot more work that needs to be done in this area, especially in the area of cost analysis, and we don't really know where the flow will go at this point. So we'll have to keep on looking into this, but it's definitely something to keep looking at. Thank you very much for listening.